after this session. Thank you so much for joining this particular session of the AIM. The subject is, I think, interesting, isn't it? What angel investors are learning before they invest. So may I learn how many of you want to raise finance from investors? How many of you? Good. Others want to invest, I think, isn't it? Or they don't want finance. So I want to ask a question to you. This is Uncle Sam's $100, isn't it? Who said, sorry, can you again raise your hands, the ones who want to raise finance? Yeah, okay. You want to raise finance, okay? You're an entrepreneur, you're a startup fund. I have $100 and I'm a potential investor for you. Another $100, he has $100. He is the President of the United States. Let me take it back. I mean, it is for illustrative purpose. So, which $100 you want?
From you?
From me or from Obama?
No,
from me. Why?
Because you may be more interested in my idea. You will care about doing this with me.
He is a smart entrepreneur. 21st century, everybody says, is the age of entrepreneurs, isn't it? No, it is wrong. It is the age of smart entrepreneurs. Why? Because almost everybody is an entrepreneur now. Everybody wants to establish his or her own business. Everybody is trying to raise, almost everybody, founders, trying to raise finance from investors. So the ones who are smart will be more successful than the others. He's a smart entrepreneur. Why? Because he doesn't focus on $100. He is focusing on the investor behind the $100. Yes, he is the President of the United States. Congratulations. But he doesn't have time for you. He is very busy. He doesn't have time also to make mentorship for you, isn't it? But I have time. I also have know-how to grow the business. He doesn't know how to grow the business. He knows how to grow a country, but country is not a business. Why? Because he never established a business by himself. So his $100 is just $100. But my $100 is more than $100. Because I am going to put my know-how, mentorship, and network into his business. So I am, as a matter of fact, talking about smart money and money. This is smart money. This is the difference. Printed from the same central bank, but has different values for the ones who want to reach out this money. So congratulations, you gave the correct answer. So I don't need to deliver this workshop since you know almost the most critical part. But who owns smart finance? This is an important question because today's entrepreneurs are very lucky. From ICO to IPO, there are different sources of finance available for entrepreneurs. Crowdfunding platforms, wealth management institutions, bank grants, the corporate venture capital, VCs, angel investors, ICO, IPO, family offices. So different kinds of finance available for them. But one of them is different than others. Angel investors. Why? Because angel investors are putting smart finance. Others are only putting finance. These are very important difference. So the first thing angel investors learn before they invest in startups is they are the ones who are different than other investors. This is very important. If you don't have time, if you don't know how to set up a business, if you have never experienced growing up a business, it may not be a good idea for you to become an angel investor. Because his expectation from me by refusing Obama is my know-how to grow his business, my network related with his business, and my mentorship. This is his expectation. So he accepted my $100. If I don't have know-how, mentorship, network, and if I am announcing the world that I am an angel investor, hey, this is an important problem. But if he meets with smart entrepreneurs like him, it's not a problem. Because smart entrepreneurs will always make an assessment, due diligence about the investors they are going to raise money. Isn't it? So everybody talks about the due diligence for entrepreneurs' businesses. Be careful. Investors focus on making the due diligence about the businesses. Entrepreneurs must focus on making a due diligence about the investor. If he or she is really an angel investor. Okay, angel investors are two types. Angel investors and qualified angel investors. So this is what you have to understand as a matter of fact. He is only putting his money, or he is really growing the business. And maybe at the end of the day, he is capable of raising more finance at the second or third or fourth round of investments. Isn't it? It's a very important issue. Because when you start receiving finance from angel investors at the early stage of your business, let's say 200K from an angel investor, this means this angel investor is not donating money, but is investing his money with an expectation of return of investment. So he is an investor. But return of investment means what? How do you define a successful return of investment? If I put my $100 to her business, and if I make an exit 50 years after I took my money, is it a successful investment? So this means we have to consider how much time later we will receive our money back with a good multiplier. Good multiplier means what? After I put my $100 and I receive my $2,000, which is 20 times, not later than 5 to 7 years. Because if I put my $100 to her, I can receive it 25 years later too. No, this is not a success story. Success story is I will put my money and with a minimum 20 multiplier. This is a success story. Ultimate goal of each angel investor is to have his money back not later than 7 years with a minimum 20 multipliers. This is what they are learning immediately in the first 10 minutes. They are learning, they are not donating money. This important issue. Why I am telling these issues to you? Please listen to this workshop, what I said, okay? for the purpose of using all these inputs in your pitches. Because most of entrepreneurs, unfortunately, are not addressing to the real needs of investors. They are only pitching their business, and they are telling them how the business is profitable, how an excellent business model, business plan they develop, but they are thinking the presentation slides are giving an idea to the investor that they are pitching to a donator, not to an investor. This is a very important issue. They are not sitting here to listen to your pitches as a donator. No, this is not the case. So please listen to my whatever I would say and incorporate these issues into your pitches. So what I said is about 20 multipliers issue is very important. Investors know an important statistics of OECD. OECD statistics show that 1.2% of entrepreneurs, startup funders, are able to reach out angel investor money. 1.2%. This means if there are 100 entrepreneurs here, one of them will achieve raising finance. One entrepreneur in every 10 entrepreneurs who received money from angel investors is able to create a success story. Repeating the success story, making exit with minimum 20 multipliers, not later than 5 to 7 years. This is success story. So, one entrepreneur in every 10 entrepreneurs is able to create this success story. 9 of them are not able to do it. 3 of them are bankrupted. 3 of them are floating. Some of them are 2 or 3 multipliers. So this means if you are meeting with a smart and qualified angel investor, you have to be very careful. Smart and qualified. But if you can achieve finance from such kind of an angel investor, you are very lucky. This means you are also a qualified entrepreneur and you are a smart entrepreneur. Otherwise, it doesn't match. So why do you have to be careful? Because he will listen to you. He will listen to you for only one purpose. You are going to come here and make pitching, 3 minutes pitching, 5 minutes, 7 minutes, whatever. And you are thinking that he is mainly focusing on your business, which is not the case. He is focusing on how are we going to make exit. So this is a different kind of marriage. When you go to church, mosque, synagogue, he asks, until you die, you will be get married. Are you promising? Promising. Sign, done. This is not the case here. Here, another kind of marriage. Hey, I will get married with you, but 5 or 7 years later, will I be able to achieve divorcing from you? Yes. Because I have to receive my investment back. I have to make an exit. Is it something good, according to you? It is a very good system. Why? Because another statistics show that entrepreneurs are losing their motivation after they establish the business, 7 years after they establish the business. This is the case. 7 years after they establish a new business with their entrepreneurial spirit, they feel like they are working in a company he established. He is losing his entrepreneurial spirit. and he's starting to think, hey, am I an entrepreneur or employee of the company? What is this? This is what they are starting. Why? Because they are discovering everything. They see the market, the players. That he solves all the puzzle. After he solves the puzzle, because entrepreneurs are not only establishing their business to make money, they are establishing their business, making more than money as an entrepreneur. They also want to discover something new. So, it is better for them to make an exit and go to another adventure and contribute to another business for the growth of the business. This is their psychology. So, when we make a pitching here on the stage to the investors, angel investors, you have to include a very important slide, which is generally missing. Exit strategy. After you make all your pitching here, hey, this is a great business. We are going to make so much money. We will solve the biggest problem of the world, and nobody is competing with us, and blah blah. This is the business plan, and this is my team. Okay, where is the exit strategy? Everything is great except the exit strategy. Dear friends, this is what angel investors are learning. They are encouraged to focus on the exit strategy rather than the business itself. If, of course, it's an impact, he's an impact investor, it is a different story. I'm talking about non-impact investors who really wants to contribute to the growth of the business, but also to make an exit, and this is something good because he will reinvest in other businesses, and more entrepreneurs will benefit from it. So, exit strategy is important. Tomorrow, I will speak in a roundtable of AIF, and I will talk about the corporate, how to mobilize corporate venture departments of companies to boost early stage equity markets. This is what I will talk about. Now I will not go into the details of this, but the challenging issue of exit is, where are you from? Lesotho. She's coming from Lesotho. Good. If I make, okay, my question is, he is Paul, now, not Obama, he is Paul, living in London. He is a British angel investor. And she is married, also in London. She's an entrepreneur. He's an investor, she's an entrepreneur. And she is in Lesotho. Both of them have same business model, same company valuation, same entrepreneurial skills, almost everything is same. She needs 100K for the same business, she needs 100K for the same business. He lives in London, she lives in London, she lives in Lesotho. Why Paul is going to invest in her in Lesotho instead of investing in her, who is in his city? Why? What could be the reason?
The market in Lesotho is going to grow faster than the market in
You can now, after this digitally connected world, access to markets is very possible. This may not be because if there is a profit, she can also come to Lesotho and expand the market in Lesotho.
return on investment. ROI.
Return of investment is more in Lesotho than UK. How come? Answer is correct. Now give more information.
Okay, we need more information, please. Back to your exit strategy. When we go for the exit, that Lebanese investment will be much higher in Lesotho than
Why? Because Lesotho government catched the new trend in the world and put an entrepreneurial policy in the country and said any guy who is investing in a Lesotho entrepreneur is going to receive 100K support from the government. That's it. Or Lesotho government says, hey, if you invest in a Lesotho entrepreneur, we mobilized the stock exchange in Lesotho and you can make exit earlier than 5 years in Lesotho. Because this is how we mobilize the ecosystem. Such kind of things. So, entrepreneurial ecosystem, as a matter of fact, is the main decision point of investors. If there is no benefit like this in Lesotho, you cannot convince him to invest in her. Never. I mean, he should lose his mind to make the decision. She is in London and she needs the same amount of money, and London Stock Exchange opened its doors to make the exits, but it is expensive to make exit at the London Stock Exchange. Maybe it is more feasible in the Stock Exchange. So this means angel investors try to understand when they invest in an entrepreneur, what are the exit possibilities within her market, not within my market. Local exit strategies. This is an important detail because angel investors listen to pitches from around the world. From Lesotho, I will be in Lesotho by the way next week. To meet with your prime minister from Durban. And where are you from? I said from US, from UK, Obama, London. Where are you
From Russia.
from? Russia. Okay, good. So digitally connected. So dear friends, this is very important because when you make an investment in an entrepreneur, you have to start thinking about the exit plan. The best exit plan is to make the exit within the market of the entrepreneur you invest. This is the best one. This is the ideal one. But this is not the generally the possible one. Unfortunately, in the world, exit strategies are very limited. Silicon Valley, there is a big queue there. So, my speech tomorrow is how to mobilize the companies internationally. The Coca-Cola company, for example, in Lesotho, opens a corporate venture department and starts inviting entrepreneurs to become the entrepreneurs of the company invested by Coca-Cola and creating a local exit strategy with the market. This is what I will talk tomorrow. So the second assessment, due diligence, is about not the entrepreneur but the ecosystem she is coming from. So smart entrepreneurs are doing what? They are generally opening a company in Estonia online or a European company, etc., and branding their companies as if it is a European company. This is what. Why? Because they know that investors will enjoy more in a company where the exit strategy is more clear. So UK is benefiting from this very much. So most of the European entrepreneurs are now in UK, and Nasdaq now is working over it by they opened their entrepreneurial center, and this second issue should also be included in your slides very clearly. If you are mentioning about the exit strategy, you have to clarify how the investor is going to make exit. through a corporate venture department, through a stock exchange, through the business angel networks available in the market, through the venture capital VCs, etc. No. So please insert this information to your slides. Hey, Baybars, you want to invest in my, if you want to invest in my company, these are the sources of finance available for second and third round of investment and for exit strategy. Oh, this is a very valuable information for me, and I will understand if I see that slide that I'm meeting with a smart entrepreneur. Okay? So, if you are an entrepreneur who is thinking that angel investors will focus on the business plan and will like checking the Excel sheets you provide, you don't know this job very well, to tell you the truth. So, I will ask another question to you, because you like answering the question. What is the difference between business plan and business model?
Business plan, what I have to do over the next 5 years, 25 to 7 years, where is the countries that I'm going to, what is the sales plan, marketing plan, the risk and mitigations, what is the SWOT analysis that I have, this is some financial info, this is what are the traction that I have currently, this is what we have usually in the business plan. And business model, how I get my money, This is
Where are you from?
from Egypt. From Egypt.
Egypt.
Egypt, yes.
My son-in-law is also from Egypt.
Okay.
And Egyptian people are really very intelligent. And congratulations. He gave the password, making money, not making business. Different things. I make a business and I lose money. I make a money, but I lose money. No. I make money and I make money. Business model tells me how you are going to make money. That's it. Business plan is going to tell me how you are going to make business. As an investor, I have to understand if this entrepreneur is here to make business or to make business and to make money. Because this is the ideal structure. Because if the issue is only to make money, then you put your money to the bank and get interest or go to the stock exchange and receive. There are other alternative ways. But making business and making money together is important. What is missing in the teachings of entrepreneurs? They only talk about the business plan. They don't tell me how we are going to make money and how we are going to make money together. Why do you need me in this business? Welcome. Another slide. Look, there are around 20 slides in 3 or 5 minutes you can show to the investors, isn't it? 20 slides. More than 20 slides, you don't have time. So, one slide is about exit strategy. One slide is about the ecosystem plays. The other slide is about how we are going to make money.
But I have one question regarding the exit.
You started asking questions. Okay, second stage of, yeah.
About the exit strategy. What should be included in the exit strategy?
I am an entrepreneur and teaching to you. You are all investors. Dear investors, you are not here. Because my business has a very clear exit strategy. I know that you are not donating your money in my business or in me. You are investing your money with an expectation of return of investment. And in my business, Coca-Cola, Pepsi, they all established their corporate venture departments in Atlanta. When I send an email to them, they don't care me. But if you send that email to them, then we will have a meeting in Atlanta and invite them to invest in the business you will invest and we will make money together. Convincing? Is it clear? I am showing him how to raise the second round of finance and from where. This is only one example. Another example. At the London Stock Exchange now there is an alternative investment market. In the alternative investment market they created an angel group. And these angel groups are now investing in health technologies. And they put 500 million pounds last year to 3,000 businesses. Why don't we receive only 3 million pounds as a second round of investment after you put your 200k by visiting the London Stock Exchange Business Angel Network? This is also another one. Because such kind of input from entrepreneur to investor is making the story more concrete in his mind. Then he starts thinking, hey, if London Stock Exchange is doing this, maybe Nasdaq is also doing it. Hey, I have a friend at the London Stock Exchange. Hey, I have this guy in London who will also organize this thing. He starts thinking about investments. He is not only watching you on the stage. Your purpose on the stage as an entrepreneur is to convince him start thinking now about this business, about the growth of business. 3 minutes is fine enough for this, by the way. If you are a qualified entrepreneur, 3 minutes is fine enough. If you are not a qualified entrepreneur, if you are not touching to exit strategies, company valuations, etc., even 3 days will not be fine enough for you to convince him. As a matter of fact, what angel investors learn in their courses is, if you are not convinced in the first 3 minutes, forget it. Either the business is wrong or entrepreneur is wrong. One of them or both. Because sometimes business is good. But sometimes, not always. The detail here is what you have to pay attention. The guy here is an individual who is an entrepreneur who is passing from the same route you passed before. This is a good advantage for you, but a disadvantage for the entrepreneur. Because generally, entrepreneurs forget they are not pitching to entrepreneurs who passed from that way before. So they are showing a nice Excel sheet, filling with numbers as they like, and they are thinking they are going to convince you by showing this Excel sheet which they completed with their fingers the night before. This is their assumption. Smart entrepreneur will never make this mistake. He will know that you know how I prepared this Excel sheet. So maybe you will say, hey, in your pitching, you are an entrepreneur and you know there is no business plan in the world history showing that we are going to lose money. I have never seen such kind of a business plan. All business plans are showing a profit, starting from the next year, by the way. And of course the killing question is immediately coming. If we are going to make this profit next year, why are you inviting me to become the shareholder of this company? Isn't it? So, become smart. No need to push them to ask such kind of questions. Become transparent. Very simple. Because they know who you are. You don't need to tell them. If you came here as an entrepreneur, then these angel investors know who you are. If they are qualified angel investors. Some of them are not. They will never know who you are because they were not entrepreneurs. So I advise you, humble advice, prepare 2 different slides. One for qualified entrepreneurs, qualified investors. The other one for the potential investors who never experienced a business, who is coming from corporate life, who has money and who wants to invest. This is another story. Convincing him is very simple, and he will always want to see the Excel sheets. If you want to understand if this guy is coming from a corporate life, he was the CEO of a big company, and he has money now to invest, I can understand very easily that if he's a qualified investor or not from his questions. Because he will always prefer seeing an Excel sheet, because this is what he did all his life. CFO prepared the Excel sheets, brought to him, he checked, signed, he never took risk by himself, company took the risk. So he will always prefer seeing the business plan. But qualified angel investor will say, hey, don't waste my time, come to business model. So business plan is a concern of angel investors. Business model is a concern of qualified angel investors. So clear. If you want to find money from an angel investor, other slide. If you from qualified angel investor, other slide. So you will have two versions of niches. So I am an investor. You are an entrepreneur. From which country? Egypt. Nergis, where is Nergis? This is at Egypt.
She's out now.
Okay, no problem. Okay, another Egyptian entrepreneur here, and he made a pitching on the stage. Do you think investing in him is a good idea, or investing in his team is a good idea? Which one?
Second.
Team. So this means when he came to stage, the first thing I will try to understand who are the team members. Why? Because investing in the right team is going to decrease my risk. Have you ever watched Dragon's Den on Shark Tank on TV? I was one of the sharks on the Turkish version on Bloomberg TV. And we were listening to teachings and investing in these entrepreneurs. Our experience shows that meeting with team members may change our idea. Everything may seem excellent here. Exit strategies, business model, wow, everything is fine, and we are going to make investment in this entrepreneur. No! Let's meet with the team. Because we are going to invest in the jockey, not the horse. Horse, great, an excellent British horse, runs very well. Arab horse, runs very well, good. But who is the jockey? Let's see all the jockeys, isn't it? Because main driver of the success story is human being. I am a human being, he is a human being. And we are listening to these slides, etc. The main driver is not the business model, business strategy. No, this is not the case. The main success story is a result of the ability of converting all these slides to reality. So my question in my mind is he the one who will be able to execute these excellent issues? This is a question in my mind. At the Dragon's Den, entrepreneurs were coming and we were listening to them. And what was in my mind was, I was not trying, this is a personal issue. You may use this strategy or not, it is your decision. But I was trying to understand if this guy, if he is a good sportsman, not a basketball player. Because he's coming to the stage with a basketball and telling me, hey, let's now establish a basketball team and this is how we are going to make money, etc., etc. Okay, he is here. I am first trying to understand if he's a good basketball man or not. No, this is not the case. I am first trying to understand if he's a good sportsman. After listening to this teaching, and if I understand he is a good sportsman, maybe I will invite him to consider establishing a ping pong team, not the basketball team. Because he can make a success story by establishing a ping pong team. Basketball is not for him, he's too short for it. So, I think what first we have to understand about the entrepreneurs here is, he is a good jockey of this business, or is he a good jockey if I put him to another business? But if he is a good entrepreneur, if I understand that this entrepreneur is not that I can marry, I don't start thinking about putting him to another business, etc. So I kill the idea in my mind. So entrepreneur himself is very important, but other team members are also important. Business model is important. Exit strategy is important. So these are the main parameters. A bundle. There's a bundle here. Exit, entrepreneur. The rest of the story is simple. The company valuation, the diligence. If I want to invest in this business, in this bundle is entrepreneurial team, exit strategy, business model. If I decided to invest in this bundle, whatever the due diligence report says, I will invest. Because I believe in this bundle. If the due diligence report is negative, there should be some reasons. If I invest and if I come to the game, these things will be better. This is what I will do. If the bundle is not fine, even the Excel sheet, the due diligence report says excellent, I start thinking, is it? But please note that I am talking about the individual investment strategy. I gave a statistics of OECD in the beginning. Statistics were showing one entrepreneur in 10 entrepreneurs who received money is able to create a success story. If I'm a qualified angel investor who knows these statistics, you know these statistics. You have 100K. I need 100K. And you're a qualified angel investor. You know that 1 in every 10 entrepreneurs will be successful. I'm not asking you because you know the answer. So, what will you do? Where's my pay? Yes. Do you have an answer? 10K. Do you agree? Yes, you should agree. Come. Because we say one entrepreneur in 10 entrepreneurs is able to create a success story. He's a smart investor. So he's not risking his 100K putting to one entrepreneur. He is putting 10K to 10 different entrepreneurs because he has 100K, isn't it? So he is, as a matter of fact, preferring to create a small startup portfolio for himself. That was not the case 30 years ago, but this is the case today. Because investors, angel investors know that making investment in startups is risky and you have to mitigate your risk as much as you can. So this is one of the ways. But I need 100K. He is putting 10K. What about the 90K? Because if 10K would be fine enough for me, then I would come to you and ask, put 10K, and he would put 1K in that case. So, what about 90K?
I have to approach another 9.
You have to find other 9 like-minded angel investors and create a small investor group. This is what we are calling as business angel network in Europe, angel investor group in the United States. Same things, BAN, business angel network or angel investor group. So I'm creating an angel group here with 10 people, isn't it? Like me. Each of them is putting 10K. This is something good. Why? Because if he would receive my 100K, he would have the opportunity to have access to my network, my mentorship, my know-how. But now he has 100K from 10 different angel investors, 10 mentorship, 10 know-how, 10 networking. He has this opportunity. I have the opportunity as a group member to experience more in investment from 10 different startups. So the new strategy in the world is now not the business angel groups, and there is also a new development. Why? Because in Europe, before the pandemics, 320,000 angel investors invested 9.6 billion euro. And this is 340,000 angel investors in the United States and Canada, $26 billion. So this became very popular in the world. Interesting system. And after the pandemic issue, now the traditional business owners also started to discover the opportunities of startup economy. They want to understand how they can engage with startups, and they open their doors, at least to the understanding of the mindset of the startups. And because companies are getting smaller, now there are more corporate people in the market who has money, who has time, but who doesn't know how to make investments. And they are also concerning about the investments for, considering the investments for startups. So, the new trend is angel investment funds. We say, hey, you have money, but you are not qualified angel investor, but you want to inject your money to startup economy. This is great. We are going to grow the early stage equity markets. But you are not an angel investor, you are an investor. So, put your money to angel investment funds as a silent investor. The administration of the fund are angel investors, LPs and GPs, and these GPs who are qualified angel investors will run the fund. But you also join all the meetings and train yourself as an angel investor and assume that you will be a qualified angel investor next year by seeing how they negotiate with startups, how they make the company valuations, how they make the due diligence, how they deal with the tax issues, etc., etc., etc. So the new trend is now also to invite unsmart money, also Obama money, to the game, not only the angel investor money. So, very briefly, angel investment started as an individual investment strategy. Then, after the statistics came, it became a group angel, a network group investment strategy. Then, now the third stage is the funds. The fourth stage in the future, I am thinking that it may be, there will be, let's say, Lesotho portfolio of startups. Russia portfolio of startups, Egypt portfolio of startups, and each country's portfolio with 2,000 entrepreneurs invested by the Lesotho Fund of Angel Investments. Also in cooperation with the government, of course, because co-investment is very important here. And co-investment is very important for cross-border investments. We are talking about, it is not easy to invest if you are living in Egypt and investing in Lesotho. So far, how are you going to transfer your know-how? How your mentorship? How are you going to deal with the daily works? Because as an angel investor, these are the things she's expecting from you, but you are in Egypt. So now, for example, WBAF is an angel investment fund. We invested recently in a Spanish startup in Seville, and co-investor from local market is a must, is a rule of our fund. If entrepreneur approach to angel investment fund, if you visit our website, you will see that if you don't have a co-investor from local market, don't waste our time, because we will not invest. So we made two due diligence. First, about the co-investor, we are trying to understand if the co-investor proposed by the entrepreneur is a qualified angel investor. And the second due diligence is about the business owners. So this is the fund investment structure. So to wrap up, before wrapping up, is there any question you want to ask me? Is it clear what the angel investors are learning before they invest? So I want to, yes,
Do
please.
you want to briefly talk a bit about the specifics of the fund?
About the funds.
You said you're a fund, right?
Yes, about.
So you want to brief a bit on the specifics, horizon, ROI?
We have around 1,500 members around the world, WBAF.
Okay.
We are first inviting them to complete the qualified angel investor certification program with a proficiency test. If they pass from this proficiency test, they are accredited as an angel investor of the WBAF Angel Investment Fund. This is what we do at the fund. So our group, we know what they know because they are completing the standard program and they are passing the same proficiency tests. Next month, for example, the third and fourth and fifth programs of the same programs will be in Bahrain. In Thailand, for example, the Thailand Science and Technology, NASDA, National Science and Technology Development Agency, completed 7 terms of this program and established TBAN, Thailand Business Angel Network, with the graduates of this program. So the fund has a criteria for the investors. And the second rule is the co-investors. Because we are from 148 countries, it is very easy for us to make a due diligence about the co-investor proposals. After having this due diligence report about the co-investor, we make an agreement. First with an MOU, as a matter of fact, with the co-investor. And we say, these are the steps we will follow. And when we decide to invest, and this is the money we are planning to deploy, and this is the money we are expecting you to deploy at the same time. Okay, this is the MOU. After we sign this, we start the due diligence about the business official. If the due diligence report is fine, then we establish a company, a different investment company, generally in Estonia, by the way. Do you know why Estonia? Because all investors from around the world. It is difficult to invite all investors to fly and sign the documents in person and go back. One of them is from Mexico, the other one is from Singapore, other one is from China, so different geographies. Estonia is now giving an opportunity to follow everything online. So we signed the documents online, we set up the company online in Estonia, and this company, this investment company, is investing in the startup. So our angel investors are putting money to this investment company, and this investment company is making the investment in the company. This is how the structure works. If the entrepreneurs are, let's say, from Singapore or from Asia, then most probably we are not going to set up the company in Estonia, but in Korea, because Korea has also a similar system. So we are benefiting from the digitalization policies of governments, of some governments.
So you're saying not the entire fund invests in its startup, only whoever wants to follow?
Yes, the fund, for example, for this year, our next global fundraising stage will be in South Africa, in Durban, on 22 November, in Durban. And we are going to announce next week, so I'm flying to Durban for this press conference, that the fund will announce a $10 million investment in African entrepreneurs. If they pitch in Durban and their diligence is fine and they bring a good co-investor. So this $10 million is for the startups of this stage. And we are putting all the rules on the website. If you want, you can visit WBAF.org and see the rules of investment of last year. It is listed there.
How do you get the deal flow?
Deal flow, we are announcing to the world that global fundraising stage will be in South Africa that day, and please apply. We have a scoring team from angel investors. They are online scoring, and 100 of them selected, they are pitching. This is how it works. And all fund managers are in the room, and immediately, and there is a schedule, pitching in November, making the due diligence in December, etc. We are following this schedule and finalizing the investments according to this schedule. It is, as I said, on the website. Okay, dear friends, yes, please.
You talked about ecosystem in presentation to investors. If I'm from Ukraine, and Ukraine now under war, and how can I overcome the ecosystem challenge in my presentation to investors?
Generally, what happens? Ukraine, Russia, I mean any country who has a local problem, entrepreneurs are branding themselves in different countries, like an Estonian entrepreneur or the UAE entrepreneur, UAE company, etc. For example, this year we hosted in Turkey, in Antalya, for the global fundraising stage last October. There were around 10 entrepreneurs, if I am not wrong, who made pitching from the United Arab Emirates. I said, what is this? I mean, until now, I have never witnessed United Arab Emirates entrepreneurs. I think, half of these entrepreneurs were from Ukraine, half of them from Russia. Because, entrepreneurs are not dealing with politics. They are finding a way to scale up their business. This is their main concern. And they find a way to do it. And I think angel investors, or investors, any kind of investors, are not also dealing with local problems. Because local problems are everywhere in the world. If you start look everywhere, the world is full with problems. Then investors will not be able to deal with each problem one by one. Instead of this, the common goal is to create more jobs, more wealth, and social justice for the world. Why not just serve this mission as an angel investor or as an entrepreneur and focus on the business? Please.
I'm Julius from Uganda. I've met, I'm an entrepreneur from Uganda. I've met one of the ladies who is a so-called investor, and for her, they invest in high-risk environments, especially where wars are happening or instabilities. how do you term such investors?
Yeah.
Are they also part of the angel network? Just to understand.
First of all, let's clarify the fact that smart investors will never invest in high risk issues. They are going to invest in the calculated. If there is a calculated risk, this is not a high risk because you are calculating. High risk means you are not able to calculate, you are not able to see your route, what will happen, and you invest. Come on, what like an investor you are? You don't see where this route goes. You are investing in this. So, high risk environment or high risk businesses is not a terminology of our investment ecosystem, angel investor ecosystem. So, maybe she doesn't know the meaning of this terminology. I mean, her intention is good, but she may not know what it means. She may not think about it. I think she means she's investing in the companies, even there is risk in the company. This is what she means. And this is what all of us do. Of course, there is risk. Otherwise, convertible note agreements would be more favorable than the angel investors, isn't it? Yes, another question.
Are there other sectors that they are priority for vision of investment, for example, sustainability, climate change, or digitalization after COVID? So those are the brands now.
In COVID time, you can, of course, guess which sector immediately increased. Two sectors. Zoom, I mean e-meetings, e-learning, whatever, e-education, let's say, it immediately. And second, e-health. Because doctors didn't want to come to face-to-face with the patients. But regulations didn't allow this. You have to see the patient face-to-face. But this is very risky because of the Mr. COVID. And government started to regularize this issue. And I think now there's a possibility to make online trade. So these two became very popular immediately. Globally. Also regionally, you have to check the regional opportunities. For example, Turkey, my country, after the earthquake, 50,000 people died in 2 weeks. And so now smart earthquake systems is very popular. Or smart buildings. They will alert you 10 minutes before or whatever. And construction quality. So this is generally dependent upon the market's needs and experience of people are very. An earthquake is a concern of all the world. But when you leave it, you understand that, hey, where are these smart entrepreneurs and why doesn't the government put more money in the science and technology development of earthquake issues because the country is an earthquake country, etc., etc. So policies are changing, perception is changing, and investors are very ready to invest in such kind of issues, depending on the market. But still, e-health, e-education are still attracting investors.
You're thinking, if I understood correctly, that the joint venture company that you're building with your co-investor is going to be located either in Estonia or Korea or anywhere else. I'm thinking of combining that with the exit slide. Because at the end of the day, not all of the countries where the investments are going to be placed are going to be allowing the investors to take out their monies to their places of origin. Is the entrepreneur also having to reflect those regulations and how the money can flow out of the country for the investment space?
This part is the most unenjoyable part of our business.
I understand. That's why I'm asking.
Why it is unenjoyable for us especially? Because we have different investors from different countries. Each of them is a different tax regime. Each of them is finding a way, to tell you the truth. Making the investment through fund is making their life easier. Because let's assume that the the company in Estonia made an exit. And the company invested is in Spain. The Spanish company is responsible for his part. But after we make the exit, we receive 20% exit to the Estonia. And we are going to divide it to dividends, to the shareholders who put money. So each shareholder has a different story. Some of them say, send the money directly to my country. Some of them keep it there. Some of them say, send it to that account. There he has another company or another account in a tax-free environment. So different stories for each investor. There's no common address, a common answer to this.
Any success stories so far?
No, because our fund is 2 years old, and we invested last year, but I think we will have. After our investment company started immediately growing, because our network opens new markets, because we are sharing our network with the network. Yes. Dear friends, I will now show you a video about entrepreneurship from co-founder of Starbucks, who's a good friend, and it's a 5 minutes video. And this video is available at the Financial Inclusion Center of WBAF. I have good news. I will show you now the Financial Inclusion Center address, ID. You will see it there. If you visit here, you will see that you need some credits to follow the videos, etc. If you give your names and emails to Nergis, she is the head of this the workshop, and she's from AIM. She will send the list to us in an Excel sheet, and we will upload €50 per person for you to visit the videos, etc. So I will show you now one of them. And yeah, can you? It is that. Okay, please.
Greetings from Seattle, the birthplace of Starbucks. I'm Zev Siegel, one of the 3 co-founders of Starbucks. On the screen is the original logo from 1971. In the center of the logo is the enduring symbol of the company, a siren with twin tails. There's more to me than Starbucks. I've started several small businesses. I belong to an angel group in Seattle, and I present at entrepreneurship events all over the world, like Peach at the Beach, an event that took place quite recently in Mexico's Yucatan Peninsula. It was actually organized by a WBAF member, Israel Pons. I mentor startup entrepreneurs. There have been hundreds of them in my life. In return, they give me insight into how to create a new venture today. Starbucks was a startup in 1971, but it didn't begin with 32,000 stores in 78 countries. We began with 1 store, and the beginning was humble. As you can see, the founders were slightly undercapitalized. That's why we built the first store with our own hands. This photograph from 1972 is the interior of the original store in the Pike Place Market at Seattle's Central Market. Notice the brass scale on the counter. It was for weighing coffee beans. Starbucks began by selling coffee beans and brewing equipment that our customers used in their homes. What about beverages? Well, there was no espresso machine in our store in the first decade of the company, which means there were no cafe lattes, no cappuccinos, no espressos. Starbucks did not sell beverages until 1981, 10 years after the first store. We did brew coffee every day throughout the 70s. We gave it to our customers in little sample cups. Sampling allowed customers to discover for themselves that our coffee was a good value, even though it was expensive compared to supermarkets at that time. Sampling was one of the many marketing techniques the three founders utilized to build the company's first base of regular repeat customers. This is the original Starbucks store today. It was remodeled in 1990 to become an espresso bar. Today, all Starbucks locations are espresso bars. Why is that? Well, brewed coffee beverages are more profitable and more popular than selling coffee beans. Why is the brand so strong? Well, I wish the founding partners could take all the credit for the strength of the brand today. We did build a dominant local brand, and we created a foundation that had a potential for expansion. The global growth, that was the work of Howard Schultz. He purchased the company from the founders in the mid-1980s and grew it steadily from then until he retired last year. That's a 34-year term as chief executive officer. Why is this brand so embraced? Why are gigantic Starbucks drinks popular in Istanbul, where strong coffee's been served in tiny little cups for hundreds of years? Why? Sophisticated marketing, brand management, the right executives, the right financing, the right joint venture partners, a focus on coffee, attention to detail, high quality products and design, respect for employees and customers, continuous innovation. That's why the brand is so strong. You know, the 21st century is better for emerging companies than the 20th century was. I don't know anyone in business who wants to go back in time, especially entrepreneurs. In the 20th century, there was no crowdfunding, like Kickstarter. I wish there had been. There were very few angel investor organizations. Compared to 1971, the year 2020 is a paradise for new ventures, but we can do more, can't we? That's what this conference is about. We can enable many entrepreneurs to develop their innovative idea into a business plan, build a profitable organization, and then return the investors' equity so they can invest in the next big thing. We can do more in 3 ways. Number 1, funding. More funding for qualified ventures. It's a global opportunity. Now, not all ventures are qualified. Ready to receive funding and use it for creating a business success. There are government agencies in many countries that help entrepreneurs qualify for investment. The WBAF itself has opened country offices which are operated by ministries with responsibility for economic growth. The WBAF also has an excellent business school of its own, offering programs for angel investors and for entrepreneurs, plus the global fundraising stage, a place for qualified startups to raise capital. And I really appreciate that the WBAF supports women entrepreneurship. Gender equality is a major economic development opportunity. Funding for qualified new ventures, that's our number 1 need, but there are 2 more. The second need, the content and the format of financial forecasting that's done by entrepreneurs is not always acceptable to potential investors. Agencies funded by the WBAF, as well as other incubators and accelerators and mentoring programs, offer guidance. More guidance is needed. The third need. Young entrepreneurs often do not communicate effectively with potential funders. This isn't about speaking and writing skills. It's something deeper than that. Entrepreneurs frequently don't understand the mentality of funders. Fortunately, this is a teachable skill. More funding, better financial forecasting, better communication. These 3 things would enable more entrepreneurs to qualify for funding and be able to create additional economic activity. Bay Bars, thank you for continuously reminding global leaders that successful startups produce new jobs, new wealth, and improve social justice. This Congress is going to boost growth in dozens of countries. But the sessions here are going to be challenging. You'll need to be alert, so drink lots of Turkish coffee. Enjoy the conference.
Okay, you visit this website. Dear friends, let's come here and make a family photo. And Nergis, you also join us, and we put it into social media. Please come here. We have the photographer, isn't it, Nergis?
Yeah, we have nothing.
Thank you. Okay, congratulations.